Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Hearts of Stars. I'm here today with Cindy Busby. Welcome, Cindy.
Woohoo! Thanks for having
Uh,
me.
yeah, and I'm so excited that you have pink. I love your backdrop.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, is it getting old? Like, am I overusing it? But I'm
I
like,
feel
no,
like
it's
I
the
haven't seen
best.
it though. I feel like I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
good. I mean, I try to change it up. It's a wallpaper that we put up in our dining room, and let me tell you, if you love your partner, don't put up wallpaper.
See, now I take it then it's not the restickable wallpaper.
It is,
Oh,
it is. But
okay.
our place is a bit older, so the walls are, not perfectly straight, etc. So
Oh, I
um
see. So the process of hanging it can be a little
yeah,
cumbersome.
yeah,
That's
this
what this
yeah.
is. This is the restickable
Oh,
stuff too. It's kind of
no
hard to see.
kidding.
It looks like shiplap, but it is not. It is
That is
sticky.
so cool.
Yeah. So,
No,
but
it's
yeah,
amazing the wallpapers they make nowadays. Like I was like so overwhelmed when I was choosing.
I
Um,
know.
but yeah, I'm happy about it. And
I
yeah,
love it.
it's come in handy.
I love it's so good. It's like the perfect backdrop for all
Yeah,
these Zoom things that we're doing now, Zoom interviews everywhere.
totally.
So I'm so excited to have you. We're going to talk about all the organizations that are near and dear to your heart. And this is the whole concept of Hearts of Stars, is really just finding out what does, resonate with all of you that we love so much. We fall in love with all of you on camera. But you guys you're just incredible people, period. Like just anywhere from the Hallmark channel to all of those channels. It's just, all of you just have such big hearts and are so passionate about so many things, not just your craft, because you all just are amazing actors and actresses, but these kind of things too. And I think maybe the fans don't know about all of this stuff. I think with social media it's become a little bit more known. You guys
Yeah.
are so posting stuff, but I always like to hear the stories. I'm really big into storytelling, and I just love to give people that platform to share why these things are so near and dear to your heart. So let's first start with Cameo. Okay. So
Okay.
you had said, hey, I've been doing Cameo and for the last 2 years. And what better way for me to give fans something that they want and then give the money raised to an organization
Yeah.
that you love. So for people that don't know what Cameo is, talk about that.
So Cameo is actually a platform. It's an app that anybody can get, and it allows you to see who's a part of Cameo. Typically, it's athletes, singers, actors, reality stars who've joined. And as a fan, you can buy a video message from that person and or a text message, or they also do one-on-one chats if the person chooses to do that. And so I'm on Cameo, and what happens is, let's say you buy a video from me, let's say $20 or whatever, then you get a video and then I get the $20. So I, for a long time, was like, Cameo reached out to me and were like, hey, we'd love to have you. And there's actually a lot of platforms nowadays that do something similar to Cameo, but Cameo was one of the first. I think it may have been the first. And I just felt weird about it. I was like, who's gonna want a video from me? Like, I don't know, like this and that. I'm kind of weird like that, where I'm like, nobody cares about me. But then when I finally thought about it seriously, I said, wait a minute, this could be a really good opportunity for me to make someone's day better. And so whether, your mom has a birthday coming up, or it's your anniversary and your husband loves like a specific actor, it's a really great gift for someone else. Or if someone's kind of having like a tough time. I've had many people reach out and be like, hey, like this person's been going through something, like, can you send them some uplifting messages? And like, I take this very seriously,
Oh, I
and I
love
really
that.
take it to heart. And sometimes I send like 5-minute videos and I'm like, okay, Cindy, like you need to settle down now. But it just matters to me because I know people work really hard for their money. And so I want to give them something really good in return. And then what I do is I take the money that I earn, and that was what made me join Cameo, is I take the money that I earn and I give it to charities. And giving to charities is something that I've always wanted to do. And, as an actor, sometimes you have years where you're like, I can barely feed myself, let alone give to someone else. But now I feel like this is like the perfect opportunity. It's like a perfect relationship. You get something out of it, and then I give to someone who gets something out of it. It's like a perfect design here. So that's my Cameo experience. I love doing it. I put a lot of thought and effort into it, and it's really amazing. Like the different people who order them, like it's really incredible.
Oh, I love it. So that's like a great segue into all of the amazing organizations and that you give the money that you earn from Cameo to. So you sent me a list. I love it. I requested the list. So let's just put that out there because
Yes.
I like to do my own little research on what they all are. Because a lot of times I haven't heard of them. Some of them I had. Actually, the first one that you mentioned, Beauty to the Streets. I actually have heard of before.
Oh, amazing.
Because Shirley Raines was a CNN hero.
Yes, that's great. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a news junkie. I went to school for broadcasting, so I tend to know when the CNN hero things are coming on. But talk to us a little bit about what Beauty to the Streets is.
Well, I found out about them, Shirley and her organization through Instagram. Actually, someone I followed had shared about what she was doing, and I started kind of going down a rabbit hole and following her videos and just really being touched, and really I get emotional like watching everything and anything. So I just was really touched by her personal story, and then also what she chose to do, which was, at first started with like going to give beauty treatments to people who live specifically on Skid Row, downtown Los Angeles. So people who are in, extreme poverty, living on the streets, and these human beings like want to be taken care of and want to feel beautiful and so to see this beautiful human being going out there, and it's not exactly a safe place either. Like it can be, and then this has grown immensely into feeding homeless people, giving them tents, giving them things to keep their hygiene going. And she has done this even throughout like the entire pandemic. And so I just think what she does is really a beautiful thing. And if there's anything I can do. I remember when she was about to buy a van, because she was doing this like from her car, like going and giving out. And there's a lot of other volunteers now that have joined her in doing this. And one of the things that she is very passionate about is, a lot of times people volunteer during Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is incredible. But these people are there 365 days a year. And so they don't need to just be fed during those holidays, but all year round and taken care of. So that's a little bit about it. I obviously I give what I can when I can. And she was looking to get that van. And I remember I was like, yes, this is awesome. And like I donated to that and whatever. But it's and it's local. I live in Los Angeles as well. So I think it's important, to give to local charities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the picture. So if you're listening, go check this out, because the images first of all, there's videos too, and Shirley's just amazing. But to see her like just set up shop in the middle of Skid Row and like highlighting people's hair and the look on the faces of these people that get this tiny bit of attention and just to feel so beautiful is so powerful. You can see it in the pictures. I mean, you can just tell she is making such a difference. And there are a lot of other people that have come on board. I mean, she's got barbers and all kinds of people now that have joined her in this force to, she's even said it, everyone deserves beauty treatments, they just do. It makes a difference. I mean, and we know that, right? I mean, we know like after we go and, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's not even like ultimately the beauty aspect. I mean, that's nice, but it's the love and self-care of, and also, just having someone else like wash your hair
Oh,
and touch it, and like human beings need touch so much. Like that is such a fundamental part of who we are. We need that. We need to feel loved. And yeah, it just gets me when I think of, people going through that all the time. It's yeah, it's but there's been so many incredible stories along the way where people have been reunited with their families after being on the streets for years. Like it's just yeah, so there's a lot of beauty within it.
yeah.
Um so yeah.
Yeah, and just I think the safety aspect too, they probably just feel really safe to be in somebody's company that's doing
Yeah,
such amazing things for them. Oh, I love
totally.
that. I
Totally.
love it. Okay, so moving on. Now this, our rescue to end child sex trafficking.
Mhm.
I went on their website because I had not heard of this specific organization. And I truly invite people to go on and
Yeah.
check this out because there is an entire video on, and I might be saying this wrong. It's not, is it Project Underground Railroad?
Yeah,
Is that
Underground Railroad, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, amazing. Like
Mhm.
it's a 4-minute video that just
I have like goosebumps everywhere right now. You just saying that.
like that. So please go on and check this out. But do you want to talk a little bit about that? It's fresh in my mind because I just watched the video. So if it's not in
Yeah.
yours, that's okay.
Well, I mean,
But it's just the whole concept is just such a no-brainer, the parallels between what is happening to children and to slavery, and making that the title so that it had the impact that it does for people to get involved in what it means, because
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people understand sex trafficking and what that is,
yeah.
and then you learn about it and you're just like, this cannot be happening like this.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing for me. I didn't really know that this was happening up until like a couple years ago, and to find out that it's the second largest industry in the world after drugs is like unbelievable. And so I also it kind of it's one of those things where I'm just like really passionate about that. I'm really passionate about ooh, it gets me emotional because I'm really passionate about kids and the future. And it's not just kids, like it starts as kids, but it's teenagers, it's people, and it's not all just sex, it's slavery as well. But it's it's one of those things where that it's certainly not talked about enough. And it kind of makes me upset a lot of times when I think about the things that we do talk about as a society and on the news, and the things that we pick and choose not to talk about because it's not convenient. But I think most of the things we do need to talk about aren't convenient, and they're difficult to hear. So anyway, the our rescue basically goes undercover and goes and finds these children, these people that have been abducted, who have been taken from their homes or even like sold by their own families. And they're rescued by this, basically by these undercover cops. And Tim Ballard is the creator of this. He used to be I think like a CIA agent or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't quite remember. And so this has become near and dear to his heart. And it's like his his goal in life is to save as many people from this as possible, and to put as many people in jail for this. And actually, there's a really well-known video, well, maybe not well-known enough, about Blake Lively talking about child sex trafficking literally happening in our own like towns, in our own cities, all across America. And there's like a website where you can see where all of these like red marks of all of these people that are doing inappropriate trafficking like behavior. And so it's really something it's God's work, let me tell you. It's like not something I could be a part of, like I can't, but if I can give for those who are doing it, it's like, And again, it's putting awareness. I think that's the most important part, is giving people that awareness that this is a real thing and it's happening. And just because it's not happening to your kids doesn't mean that you shouldn't care.
No.
I mean, even when you go to the airport, you know, you go to the bathroom and there's like those posters there. And I think a lot of times people just are like, oh yeah, like poster, whatever,
right.
you know, and then so it's important to look at those things and to take it seriously. And you know, it's like any abusive relationship, like when you're in it, it's really difficult to get out of, because there you lose yourself, you're in total fear, so you're completely on fight or flight, your body is not functioning as it would, you're just trying to survive. And so I think that that's like the hard part sometimes for people to understand when they're not in those situations, is it's not easy to get out of something that you're like embedded in.
Right.
That is
Right.
like also become, you know, and people are just trying to survive, if that's what we can even call it at that point. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what that organization is. And especially in the last 2 years, like all of this has gone through the roof. So if there's never been a better time to be more active and aware and involved in how the abuse is happening, like constantly, because people don't have places to go now because they're stuck in their homes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, please check and watch the video of Project Underground Railroaded, or Underground, the Underground Project. It's that video, and
Yes.
I get goosebumps too, just thinking about it, because he is so passionate about it. And it's just, you know, just when he talks about, I got every single book I could about slavery, because and he's like, I didn't just get the books to be inspired. I learned the tactics on how to save these people and liberate them. And that is just so amazing. So please check that out. So let's talk about Sophie's Place. This one is actually in Vancouver. So this is a Canadian-based organization. And it provides a safe place for children to talk about, you know, their story about physical or sexual abuse. And again, this website also has a video that is so powerful. So talk a little bit about why you wanted to get involved with Sophie's Place.
So I didn't know about Sophie's Place, but my friend Graham Wardle, who's an actor and was in the show Heartland with me, he did a thing called Cruise for a Cause for a couple years. So they would get together and, you know, ride their motorcycles to different towns and raise money. And it was a beautiful thing, and asked me to be a part of it. So they would start their ride with kind of like a get together where, you know, you could sign autographs and like have an auction and things like that. And so he asked me to be a part of it, I think for 2 years. And anyway, he's the one who he's the first person who told me about it, because that's who they were raising money for with Cruise for a Cause. So I was like, what is this thing? And basically it's just a safe haven for children that, you know, have had a rough scenario at home. And it allows them to feel safe to talk about their experience when typically it doesn't normally go that way, and they are heard and they're felt seen. And Sophie Tweed Simmons is the reason why it's called Sophie's Place, is based on her name, Sophie, and she's a huge advocate for it, and she's the one who kind of started Sophie's Place. And yeah, that's kind of how I started. It's been a couple years that I'm a part of, just kind of giving them when I can. And yeah, I just think it's a really beautiful cause. And again, it's a local place. Vancouver's kind of like a second, well, I have multiple homes, I feel, but I lived in Vancouver for a very long time. So yeah, that I feel like part of my heart lives there. And so it's important for me to do that.
Yeah, to get back there. One of the things that I saw on their website, which I thought, because of the work that I do, which was so interesting to me, is that when these children are interviewed, they're interviewed several times in different places and ask the same questions. So, and you essentially being re-traumatized, sharing that story every single time. And so what's so cool is that it's one time. Everyone comes to them. I'm a big believer in like coordinated care where everybody's just coming together. And
Yeah.
especially with trauma related care, it can be, it's hard for, people to share that story over and over again, being interviewed and kind of rehashing all of that stuff. So I just love organizations that really think it through and really think about the person that's sitting there on that couch or chair and having to endure that and figuring out the best way to do it, making them feel safe. So all right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna change gears and we're gonna talk about animals because
I know, sorry, we've gotten real deep here. It's like
deep. I feel like we need to like flash a picture of a kitten or I don't know, watch a puppy video or something to like change our brain chemistry around here. It's so funny because almost everyone that I've talked to, everyone has an animal organization that they are passionate about. And so yours, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's Mayday Rescue, correct? Mayday Rescue. It's in LA.
Yeah, it's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and the story of how this got started, very interesting as well. So share a little bit about Mayday Rescue.
So again, Mayday Rescue is another one I found on social media. Again, I think someone may have shared something. I can't remember. You go down the rabbit holes. And for some reason, I just was really attracted to their page and what they were doing. And it's again a local charity. They're just in Los Feliz. They have a dog store where they sell like food and toys and things, and then they use that money toward rescuing animals. And we rescued our dog from Mayday Rescue. I was kind of getting to that place where I really wanted to have an animal. I'm a huge animal lover, like kids and animals have my heart, and I would do anything for them. And so I was getting there, and I was kind of trying to convince my husband. I was like, well, maybe. And he's like, just show me the photos and we'll see like who, he was a bit more apprehensive, and he didn't like grow up with animals. And so I kept showing him photos, and then they had like an open house of sorts. So that's when they have all their current dogs that are available, kind of just like hang out in their dog store. And so we got to meet like 25 dogs that were there. And there were a couple that we were like in love with that I adored. And then we saw Susie, and she was just like a pure light in the room. Like she was so friendly and so loving. And I just couldn't get her out of my head. And it's funny because I really think meeting an animal like makes a difference, because what they look like doesn't mean anything. It's like chemistry. It's like meeting a guy. Like you could be like, oh, that guy's hot. But then you meet him and you're like, no, thank you. So they do something really great where they give you a 7-day trial with the animal to make sure, because, their whole goal is they don't want to have any dogs be in shelters. So they rescue the dogs that are in shelters, and then they make sure that they've been spayed and neutered, and that they don't have any health conditions. And if they do, they take care of them. And so a lot of the funds that go to Mayday Rescue go toward medical bills for animals, rescuing them. And then they also have a bunch of foster families that take care of the animals while they await to find their forever home. And so these people are just, that's really like the heroes in this. It's Mayday Rescue and then all the fosters, because if you don't have a place to hold the animal while they wait to be rescued, then they can't rescue the animals. And so that's like the biggest thing. And they're always, asking like, if you're interested in fostering, like you are what make it possible for us to rescue as many animals as possible. And in Los Angeles, there's just so many animals that are like on the death list, and they're like 24 hours. And it's just like, it's really devastating to see just how a lot of animals can just be pawned away. Like, I don't like, other than people, you know, like sometimes when people are older, they go into a home, or if people pass away, like it's understandable. But yeah, I don't know. I grew up with animals till the very end. And so I don't understand the giving away part. Like, it's like, you wouldn't give away your kid. Like, why?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I know you didn't do it with this organization, but you did foster two
Yeah,
dogs over quarantine. Like,
yes,
was that the first time you ever fostered an
it
animal?
was. It
How
was.
was that experience?
It was cool. It was, so basically I used to volunteer at Best Friends Animal Rescue. And so I would go and I would go walk the dogs. So I was like a dog walker. So I would go, you go for, 2-3 hours, you take as many dogs as you can for like a walk around the block so they can pee and, sniff and do the dog things. And that was such, talk about heart-wrenching. Like every time I would go, like they just see you and they're like pumped, like they are so excited. And then, a lot of dogs are like barking because they're so excited, or they're like intimidated and that kind of thing. And it's like they're released to just get out of this cage. And yeah, so I did that for a while. And then when everything happened in 2020, they shut down this location, which was right next to the 405 here in LA. And they moved all of the dogs to one location because they couldn't have volunteers coming and going anymore. And so they tried to have as many people take like dogs as possible for them to be fostered, so they wouldn't be stuck in cages and not be able to like be walked. And so that's when I told Chris, my husband, I was like, can we foster dogs? Like so many of them like need us, and that could be fun. And we're just stuck in the house, and so there was this bonded pair, Bonsai and Maple, who they just needed a place, and they're like, would you be interested in taking two? And I told Chris, and he's like, we're taking one, not two. And I was like, but they're bonded. And then so we ended up taking them because I won that argument.
Yeah. Was that before or after you adopted Susie?
That was before. So that was our first, yeah. So that was in I guess March, end of March or beginning of April 2020. And so we had them for I think about a month or so. And then they ended up going to another foster. It just was a little bit difficult for us because of where we live, and to have two, and we have stairs, and they had trouble going up and down the stairs, and they were like about 40 pounds each. So we had to, but they found a foster, and then they ended up getting adopted together. So that was I remember when I got that email, I was like, yes. And I was like crying. I was like, look, Chris. And so it was, it was all a beautiful experience. So that was kind of our first step into it. And then that's when I became obsessed with finding a dog. And then we adopted Susie from Mayday Rescue.
Go. I love it. Now you keep looking over to, is she?
Yeah, she's right there. Sorry. She's in the middle.
Oh, it's fine. I was just like, I think Susie might be really close by. What kind of dog?
She's here. I'll go get her 1 second.
Okay.
Come here. She's like, I was sleeping. What the heck?
Oh man. Oh my goodness. Hi.
You want to say hello?
I see. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a sweetheart. You were sleeping, weren't you? I know. I'm sorry. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's
yeah, she's 7.5. And it was very important for me to get more of a senior sort of dog, because oftentimes they're the ones that are looked over, and they're usually like the easiest because they're like potty trained and they just know what's up. And I just couldn't do the puppy thing. So I was like, perfect.
A lot of energy. I mean, that's just a lot. It's cute, but it's just a lot of energy. So yeah, Susie looks laid back, like just, very chill.
She's literally like an angel. I'm officially obsessed with her. Like it's,
I love
It's the best thing. I always say, you're the best thing that ever happened to us.
Aw.
I mean, like, why did you wake me up?
Yeah, I know. She's not over that part yet. So say no sweet talk, mom. You woke me up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. So we don't necessarily talk obviously a lot about, your film work and things like that. But I do want to ask, what do you have coming up? Like what are we going to see you in? What are some new projects you're involved in? Of course, the ones that you can talk about.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a movie coming out this year. I don't really know when it's going to come out yet. But I did collaborate with, you'll be very happy about this, Christopher Russell and Christy, who I worked with on Love in the Forecast on the Hallmark channel.
Great.
So that's a really fun project. Which was actually our third project altogether. I love Chris Russell. Like, we have such a great time. He's become a really good friend of mine, and Christy as well. Like, she's such an incredible director and such a badass, like, woman in the industry. And yeah, I mean, it's the best. Like, I understand why Seth Rogen like always hires like the same people, because you just end up wanting to work with your friends,
Yeah.
And yeah, as of right now, it's the beginning of the year, so we're just kind of letting things happen. Also, just really enjoying. Last year was a pretty big year for me. I had 2 Christmas movies, and so yeah. So we'll see what's up this year. I've learned throughout the years to just, work happens, and when it happens, it's like you got to pick up and go, and then you're gone, for 5 weeks or whatever. And so now I just kind of learned to really enjoy the downtime. So I've learned to appreciate that as part of my training as well, because you can only be as good of an actor as you are a human being. So I use these off moments to continue my personal growth, and so that I can be a better actor for it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And get back and do all those cameo videos.
The cameos, and yeah, like my writing and doing, yeah, it's great, reading and just going for a walk and enjoying that. Like, it's fantastic.
All those little things that we take for granted that we don't focus on. So I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm working on being in the moment. That has been always a struggle for me, but it's so beneficial when you can actually practice that consistently.
Yeah, totally. Because, there's so much external like noise, and it's easy to get carried away in it. And it's only really when you sit and you're like in stillness that you can really like receive more. That's my deep Cindy talking, but
that's Cindy. I love it.
But yeah, so yeah, that's it. It's easy. I think also we just live in a society where it's like, it's really valued to be like on the go and, tired and being like, oh, I'm so busy. Like, that's like, yeah, you're busy, you must be awesome. And it's like, it's also cool to like not be busy.
Because you might not have boundaries, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's another great thing I learned. 2021 was all about boundaries for me.
Yeah, I think it was 2020 for me, and it was, I'm getting on the no train. I'm learning how to say no to things that don't serve me. And then saying no, because my schedule's open doesn't mean that it's actually open. Like, I have the schedule for me. Like, I hear you. You.
My mentor always says, are you honored by the company you keep? Sometimes we give a lot of ourselves to people who just don't deserve it. So
we are dropping some good nuggets of information here. I feel like I'm gonna have to cut little snippets of these videos and just kind of put them out and be like, this is Cindy's little nugget today. I love it. All right, so we're gonna play a quick game. It's quick, and I feel like you're so excited and that you're gonna.
Oh, I'm just excited because it's gonna be great. It's gonna be.
If you want to give an explanation to some of these, you can, because apparently That's okay, because everyone else has done it. But I'm asking the same questions to like everybody because and there's only 4. It's very like short, sweet. Okay.
Okay,
All right. So the first one is, and it's a this or that. So you're just going to pick your preference. Flip-flops or sneakers,
sneakers.
cake or ice cream,
Cake.
breakfast or no breakfast.
Ooh. Brunch?
So that is like the number one answer is that, well, I like breakfast food, but not in the morning. Like I can't for so many people, it's a timing thing. Like
Yeah, totally.
so, or they're like, I'll have my coffee, but eating anything like before a certain time just isn't going to happen. That has been 100% of the answer. So I'm just waiting for the person to go, oh, breakfast, 7 a.m. I'm up and I have pancakes.
Well, I know some people, like I have some friends that if they don't eat within the first hour, like they feel sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, I'm just like, I feel like I'm still like going through what happened last night. Like, I just gotta like, I do wake up and I have my green juice. Like I have this really amazing green powder that I have every morning. So I don't feel like I'm totally on E, like I'm getting my nutrients. Right. And then of course my coffee with homemade almond milk.
Oh, very homemade almond milk.
It's so easy to make and it's way better than at the store.
It's so easy to make. Not as healthy, but I also make my own buttercream icing, which is not the same thing at all, but I never buy canned icing.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Buttercream icing is the easiest thing in the whole wide world to make. No excuses. Not as healthy as
I'm not a baker. Like I'm like chemistry. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But I will say within the cake and ice cream realm, I would have said chips. I am such a savory person. Like I'm not a sweets person at all.
Yeah.
But see, I would say cake without the icing, unless it's homemade, in which case I'll try it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also a cake person. I'm not a big ice cream person. I don't like things that are really cold. I'm just not, I get like a brain freeze or it hurts my teeth.
It's actually not good for your metabolism either.
Really? Well, good to know. Because there's so many physical things that happen. Cake for me, I love cake. Cake, cupcakes.
Oh yeah, like it's
so good. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the last one is food related too, and there are two opposite ends of the spectrum. I have a feeling I know what you are going to say. The choices are French fries or a salad.
Oh man. Wow, that's a tough one because I am a huge salad person. Like I make epic salads, like not just lettuce and dressing. Like I've got like all the vegetables on it. But I love me some French fries with some mayo on the side. I'm not a ketchup person.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
very put French fries on top of the salad.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. That would be an epic salad. I love it.
But you know what? Not all fries are created equal, and that's where I put my foot down.
It's very true. Very true. What are your favorite fast food French fries? Like if you had to stop at a fast food place, where are we stopping?
Oh gosh. I'm so not a fast food person. I know that's like so lame. You're like, oh, actor doesn't like fast food.
I'm jealous, actually.
I love any that are really like crispy. But I gotta tell you, I'm not a McDonald's fries. No, like I like them when they're kind of a bit. Okay, so as a Canadian, I really loved Harvey's fries. Anyone who's Canadian who's watching this knows Harvey's fries. I also really like the fries at In-N-Out Burger. They're pretty good too.
I've had them like twice because we don't have those in South.
I know.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the game.
I did. Mostly because it was food related. So I'm all about that.
Right? I appreciate you so much taking the time to talk about these organizations, and I will put links to all of them. Hopefully people will get inspired and donate or get involved any way that they can. That's what this podcast is all about. So Cindy,
I love that you're doing this. Yeah, no, thank you. And again, I just want to say that like, I used to think that I couldn't donate to certain things because I didn't have a lot to give or anything like that. But honestly, like, even just $3 makes a difference. Like, just give up your coffee for the day. And like, imagine if everyone did that, or even half the population, we would be in very different places. And even just giving your time or whatever it is, like, or just spreading the word, like that's the biggest part.
Yeah, it
So,
doesn't cost anything to share a link, share a video.
yes, yes. Well, thank
And
you.
so many things are virtual now. I mean, you can donate your time. I mean, they need organizations, nonprofits need help with social media, need help. So if you are good at certain
Yeah.
things,
Or
just
even
reach out.
donations, like clothing or food,
Oh,
whatever. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
so many ways to give.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Yes. Thank you
you.
so much. And congrats on doing something really different and exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.